going on, THP? We're back for our second round of Get to Know Your Granddaddy Team 2021, and I'm extra excited about this one because these are the guys I've been on this journey with the longest. The Grandmama Guys, Shaun, and Neil. But starting with Shaun with no H, why don't you guys introduce yourselves a little and tell THP, introduce yourselves a little to THP and tell us about the screen name as well.
Sure. So my name is Shaun Karen. You guys know me on the board as Tevenor. I'm the resident wise ass, foul mouth, vulgar guy, I think. Looking for these guys to nod or not. Pretty much. Does that cover it?
Lots of beeps coming.
Yeah. Lots of beeps coming. Yeah, I don't know if this is censored yet or not, but I'm counting down how long it takes me before I swear. Tevenor is a username I've used for years and years and years. It comes from a short story I wrote back in college. I came up with a character, and I was sick and tired of using different names on boards many, many years ago, and just grabbed one from a character I created and said, boom, that's it, done. So I've been Tevenor ever since.
I like it. Neil?
Hi, my name's Neil. I'm a putterholic. Nope, different kind of meaning. So yes, my name is Neil. On the forum, you know me as X-Thor. A little bit about my screen name. I had a cat named Thor, and I put an X in front of it, and that's X-Thor. So.
Super easy.
But it works out, right, with the hammer references. So all good there. But just super excited, super happy to be with this group of guys. You all are amazing. Love it.
Awesome. And then Shaun with an H?
Yep. The other Shaun with an H, the funky spelling. You all know me as 93 Civic Coupe. I wish I had a better reason for my name, but the first forum I got onto when I was much younger was a Virginia car forum. I live in Virginia. Spent way too much time and money on a 93 Civic Coupe that I did all sorts of work to, made it fast, made it handle well. Big money pit.
Didn't make it fast.
Made it faster. Made it faster. Like certain vehicles that had no chance, but made it faster. That is a fair comment. And then because I didn't want to have to keep thinking of usernames, 93 Civic Coupe and all my hobbies, whether it's archery, competitive shooting, if you go to any of those boards and you see 93 Civic Coupe, it is likely me because I'm unoriginal. So eventually JB or someone's going to give me a nickname at one of these events that's going to get rid of it. Because in my first event, he couldn't pronounce it at first and thought that I was just special in the head and came up with some random numbers together until someone told him it was referencing a car. So
what did he call you?
He actually called it out. It was at the Titleist 718 event, and he was like, someone had to help me because I was just going to say the name with the 93 in it because he did not realize it was referencing a car. He didn't realize CPE was short for coupe. So but yes, one of the guys there, I'm not sure if it was Nick Lovig, who was CA Ellerk at the time, or one of the other guys had explained to him, had figured it out for him. So
I like that. So like I said, we were part of the Grandmama, and I know people jump in on THP, they jump out of THP. So for those of you who aren't aware, there was an event created last year after the Grandaddy was rescheduled for 2021. It was never meant to be a replacement, but more of a hold you over kind of thing. Instead of 13 THPers, it was just going to be us four heading down there, getting fit and playing some non-hideaway, no belt competition golf with some members of Callaway. That whole experience was a bit of a roller coaster for all of us, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
So I kind of wanted to hear everyone's thoughts on it, which leads into the first question from a forum member. Baylor Balla wants us to walk through the emotional swings around the Grandmama roller coaster. So Shaun, we'll go Tev. Since you were first selected, let's go you and then Neil and then Shaun.
The emotional roller coaster is exactly what it was. Up and down, up and down. You're coming off the emotions of knowing that there wasn't going to be a Grandaddy for the THP community. And the guys that had already been selected, Maddie as a captain and David who had already been selected, and going, oh crap, now there's no Grandaddy, which is a down. And then you hear about this really cool new thing for the Grandmama, which is, to your point, 4 people going out, more of a product review, more of an experience, less of a competition, and then to be selected I mean, it's just like a huge up ramp, right? The entire year was pretty much just like highlights. You know, as each one of you guys got selected, you know, it's a teammate, it's experiencing it. Yeah, it's not the Grandaddy, but still, it's an experience with Callaway, which is just fantastic. And how could it not be fantastic, right? Especially being the first one, the first ever Grandmama. And then I'm sure, as these guys will tell you later, we get into November and we've got tickets, we got hotel flights, we've got all the stuff planned, ready to go. And then COVID hits, the big upswing in tick, and it's the decision, rightfully so, by the Callaway guys to just say we can't do it. It's just too much risk. So you're going through this down on one end, excited all year to talk about it, to say it's going to happen, and then a massive drop on the bottom end until we talk to Finley and the Growth group of the fantastic guys at Callaway to go, hey, do you want to be part of the Grandaddy? And then right back up again, right? So roller coaster is exactly the right word for it. It was just a crazy experience and still good. I'm still positive. I mean, we had a great opportunity to see everything behind the scenes, and Finley and Dean Evs and all the bunch of the guys there just were amazing on how they treated us and made us feel like it was really, I honestly think that they were more disappointed than we were. Which is a huge testament to the guys at Callaway about the whole conversation. So
absolutely.
So
what about you, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the roller coaster. Obviously hearing that there was going to be no Grandaddy was a little bit of a letdown. I remember the day that THP was doing their live video, had Jason Finley on. They were talking about the Grandmama. I was sitting playing Xbox and watching it, and I had to pause as he was starting to talk and explain, this is the Grandmama. So I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. Let's watch this. And then to be selected a few months later, just absolutely elated. So really cool. Getting to know these guys has been just fantastic. And then, of course, COVID starting to creep up a little bit more and more. May have been a little bit more of a letdown for me than these guys, because the night that we got the email that the Grandmama was going to be canceled was actually my birthday. So it was a little bit like, ooh, this is, an extra little dagger, happy birthday. But no, I mean, you could tell from the email, the wording, the way that they presented it to us, that it sucked for them. And they felt bad for us that they had to cancel it. So, and then to go right back into the Grandaddy, I mean, just been flying on cloud 9 really for the last year.
I know Shaun, or I know Tev and Neil kind of stated everything, but what else you got for me, Shaun?
It's a lot of the same. It was interesting. It was Grandaddy means a lot to me. Followed it. I took off work one year to follow it more closely a couple of the days. So was anxious when I saw the team getting formed. And so when it got put on hold, that stunk. But then hearing about the Grandmama, and I think I was the last one selected, right?
Yeah.
And I'd almost thought, I was like, well, it's not going to happen. That's okay. I'll throw my hat in next year. So to find out was kind of exciting, and had a bunch of guys from the forum who I've been in events with and made friendships with reach out to me before I even got on the forum that morning. Had a whole bunch of text messages, which was kind of neat. So overwhelmed, got to meet all of you. Had a lot of group chats going on, and from about midway point, as we were getting closer, we were all wondering ourselves if it was really going to happen, with seeing what was happening in the world. So we were somewhat prepared for it. We kept talking ourselves. At one point, I think we're all 50-50. I mean, we had plane tickets lined up and all of that, but I do appreciate the way they notified us when Jason Finley reached out, and the email was bittersweet. It was, Grandmama's not going to happen, but then you're in the Grandaddy. It was just, to me, that was more good news than bad, because my preparation was just to have some sort of swing to go out there, because it was going to be different. Grandmama was going to be incredible. We were going to see the lineup. We were going to go have fun. But it was casual rounds of golf with them. It's different. It wasn't the hideaway. It wasn't Al's house. It wasn't the insanity. And immediately gaining a few new brothers, and Matt, David, and Clayton. So it ended up higher than it started for me. I mean, that the sadness didn't last too long, realizing, and it also gave me a kick in the butt to go try to get my game in a better spot so that we can have a lot more fun here in a couple months.
Absolutely. So, I mean, all three of you mentioned in your explanations the email that said we're going to the Grandaddy. Like this may sound dumb and cheesy, and people who aren't or who haven't been a part of it may not understand, but I got chills all three times you guys said it because it's just it was I was playing Xbox also, Neil, when we got the email saying that we weren't going. And
Yeah.
as everybody knows who plays video games, you can't pause a multiplayer game. But I literally just set my controller down and just couldn't believe that we were being treated the way we were, just being given that access, even though we had already been given access to stuff. It was pretty mind blowing, to be honest.
I think I read that email like 4 or 5 times before I really reacted to it.
Yeah.
I was like, this can't be happening. No, on both ends, right? The whole, like, we knew it was coming. We were all 50-50. We had been talking about it for almost a month and a half at that point about, yeah, there's a good chance this is going to get canceled too. And then to read the bottom half about what they want to do for us, and the Granddaddy part of it, it is chills. It's one of those moments that kind of gets seared in your brain.
Yeah.
You think about it, like, I can remember my reaction. I can remember where I was when I was reading it. The fact that I went, scroll back up. Let me read that again to make sure I read that right. I think I read that right. No, I couldn't have. Let me read it again. And then I step back and I wander around the house, and the wife's going, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I can't talk right now." And I went back, read it again. And I'm like, "Holy shit." Oh, hold on.
There it is.
How long did that take?
Didn't take long.
Is that better?
It took 10 minutes.
Not kid say.
Not bad, really.
It was funny because for a change, I actually read the email first. The funny thing was, like, I didn't get the plane itinerary, like it went to the wrong email address or something. So the joke was always that I wasn't going at for real. And somehow I got that email, I read it first, and I didn't want to spoil the news. So I think in our group text, I was just like, "You guys need to go read the email now." That's all it was. Y'all need to go read.
Guys, guys, you got to read the email, guys.
Right now, I was in shock because I was trying to process it, and I was like, "Just go."
Again, it's just the journey. I mean, we haven't been on a big journey as Clayton, Matt, and David have, but like they did their first half together, we did this half together. So it's fun to talk about, because I don't know how much the forum actually knows about it, besides it was just canceled. But yeah, just how Callaway and THP have treated us has just been outstanding.
Yeah, the Grandmama,
beyond fantastic.
The event that never was.
I know, and we did have a question.
We got some head covers.
Yeah, Shaun, you want to pull that one out really quick? Or Tev? God dang it.
What, covers?
Yeah. Yeah, the event that never was.
The logo that we made up for the Granddaddy or for Grandmama.
Yeah.
The covers that we made up. So we were all in, all the way up to what, 3 weeks out? 4 weeks out?
Right around 3 weeks out. Yeah.
3 weeks out when everything kind of went sideways. So we were all in at that point. We were committed. We talked about what we were going to do when we got together for the first time. You guys are my Grandmama brothers. That will never change, because it's just something that we all experienced and lived through.
Yeah.
Kind of a very unique, I'm hoping a unique experience. I'm hoping we never get in a situation where we have to cancel Granddaddies and do other things again in the future.
Right.
So I think it's going to be, hopefully it's a unique situation for THPers.
I mean, we could do an entire sit down just talking about what we went through and like the whole experience, but I'm gonna move on past that, or else we're just never gonna get this one done and nobody's gonna finish watching the damn thing. So the first, well, not the first, we already asked a question, but I do have a question from Captain Matt that I wanted to get answered quick, since there are a few more questions that pertain to it a little later. And he wants to know, what's the biggest golf event you guys have played in? I may know Shaun's answer. So Neil, I'm going to start with you on this one.
The biggest golf event that I've played in. Ooh. Probably just some club championships. I just joined a country club last year to really get into golf. So probably just the club championships, member, and then this year match play tournaments for me is kind of the big events that I've played in.
Okay. Tev.
So I gotta call out the distance bash, my first experience ever.
I wanted that answer.
Yep, it is something that is just phenomenal. It's created, great friendships, just like I've got here with you guys, but with the key folks from there, Literate and Big Dill and a bunch of those guys, and Danny Lee. Just having that friendship build because of that has been fantastic. It was an amazing experience, something that I don't think could be duplicated. Being the first one you ever get selected for. Besides that, I played in a couple of fairly big 2-3 day tournaments around here locally. But for the most part, that distance bash was the biggest thing.
Yeah, and Shaun, I feel like I know your answer, but why don't you say it anyway?
Yeah, shouldn't be a surprise. I've never been a member of a club, so I haven't done a lot of tournaments. Haven't done anything more than Captain's Choice tournaments, but biggest would have to be the Morgan Cup a couple years ago at Hague Point, which was just mind blowing. The whole experience, and that's still an event that I go back and look at the pictures and get emotional about. Team Paradise, we lost, but we had a hell of a lot of fun there and just amazing. Even my first event was pretty big, which was just the first titles event with the forum. That 718 event was pretty special because it really made I lurked and followed a lot of the events, but being there for the first time with a group of guys was incredible. But the Morgan Cup, the level of competition and camaraderie and the fun that goes on behind the scenes was just insane. The fact that you're getting there with a couple of VPs from a company is just mind blowing. It's incredible what happens to us.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be both Shaun's answer. So the next question, actually, before Neil, have you been in a THP experience?
I've not.
Okay,
so this is my first.
Like me, this will be our first one.
I did. There was a THP regional kind of an outing. It wasn't an event, right? But it was up in Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis or Lexington a few years back. But it wasn't like an actual event like you guys have been to.
But it was THPers put it on.
It was yes.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question leads into what Shaun and Shaun were talking about. So seeing as you guys have been in some competition directly with THP, D-Nice26 wanted to know, how do you guys prepare yourself for the pressure of the Grandaddy? And Shaun, with an H, we'll start with you.
I have read through the threads, all the previous threads dozens of times now. I just went through one this past weekend again. Talked to a lot of the past participants, including some of the captains and assistant captains, trying to understand what we're going to be, because like Matt, our captain, said, fun for everyone, making sure that we don't miss the fun, but at the same time, it's our responsibility to do this right and not be someone who disappears after the event and causes other people not to be able to get this chance of a lifetime. So it's, for me, I think a lot of people think that preparation needs to be for the playing, and yeah, a lot of us have grinded away at our games. I think several, including Mike G, recently put on the forums for us, have a repeatable swing. Doesn't have to be a perfect swing. Have something repeatable you can play to. If you're trying to do too much or think too much, you're going to miss out on the experience itself. A lot of the preparation, and it's if you haven't done it before, I think we got a good taste of it in Chicago. Having to live update the forums and try to bring group along while playing can be very distracting and take you out of the flow of the match. So I have done a little bit of that on my own in the past. I probably need to do it a couple more times as we lead up to the Grandaddy, just because there's pressure of competing in the match. Ultimately, we all know that we've won just by being selected for the same. We all want to go there and perform our best, and we would love to bring the belt back, and we're certainly going to try. But we're going to have fun regardless. But I think it's that additional responsibility, which we happily welcome, of trying to bring the form along, find new ways to engage the guys and bring the excitement to them so that we have some people fired up about signing up for next year. So I think it's, the competitive part, I'll tell you, to me, was more fun than anything. I was nervous as crap, the Morgan Cup. I played with the captain our first round, and I think I topped the first 14 balls I tried to hit with an iron. And so we had a very fun first round, to say the least. And we still gritted it out and didn't get closed out till late. But You calm down and you play. And I think that's it. Don't miss. It's just golf. It's the same thing. Don't get too worked up about it. But I think it's the extra stuff that I really have focused on, because we've had some teams that have set some really good examples of how to engage with the forum, try to pay back the Callaway guys with all the affection and gratitude we can for this opportunity. So I think that's the part that really hits me, that I've really tried to be preparing for leading up to this.
I like that. I mean, you hit the nail kind of really on the head. I don't know how much more there is to say about how we prepare to bring the forum along, but I do have another question that leads into it. So I'm hoping, Shaun, that you talk a little bit about, I mean, like I said, Shaun spoke perfectly about how we need to prepare for the forum, make sure it happens again. But I do want to talk a little bit about the competition, because like I'm in a really bad place with my game right now, and it's affecting me like mentally. So Shaun, Tev, how are you preparing for the Grandaddy competition wise?
Competition wise, I think I'm kind of in a unique spot from most of you guys. I play competitive golf now regularly anyways, right? So my normal league is a competitive singles, USGA follow the rules, handicapped style tournament style. So, you know, I'm walking in the door every Saturday playing for points, playing against everybody else in the league, heads up. I'm playing also in the New York State Amateur Series as well. So I've decided this year to go not just my normal league, which is a competitive league, but also travel across New York State and play in those tournaments. So I'm playing against people all over the state of varying skill levels, mostly single handicappers, couple of pluses in there just for fun. Just to get the experience of showing up on a course you've never played, playing against people you've never played with, and just to Shaun's point, getting settled down that it's just golf. It's the same ball, it's the same grass, it's the same clubs. You know, well, it won't be the same clubs for us, but you know, it's just bring your swing and trust the fitting, trust everything else. And you put a good swing on the ball, see where it goes, and you keep playing, right? So I put myself in a position that all year this year I've been trying to push the comfort zone and push me into more spots where I'm playing courses I've never played before in a competitive environment, in a spot that I'm playing with people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Just because that's kind of the mojo, right? If I can do that, then hopefully it prepares you enough. Not that there's ever enough preparation, right? But it gets you from a competitive perspective. But as Shaun said, that's only half of it. I mean, we're going out there. We want to be a good showing competitively. Like I love to be the second team, Grandaddy team, to bring a belt back, not just Canadians. I'd love for Maddie to be the second team, right? But at the end of the day, it's about building the relationships. It's about having fun. It's about really engaging with the Callaway guys and showing the appreciation, so that ultimately that there's a 2022 Grandaddy, right?
Absolutely. So Neil, I'm gonna move on and give you the next question I got. Preparing for the Grandaddy obviously means practicing, since there will be a big competition aspect of this. So the Wilder side wants to know, we've known for quite a while that we'd be participating in this. So how is everyone trending with their game? If you've been really working at it, are you at all worried about peaking too early? Neil?
Absolutely. 100%. If these guys have known, my driver game has gotten quite erratic recently.
Right there.
But it's getting there. So I just looked the other day. Last year, so a year ago, last August, I was a 13.8 index, and today I'm a 7.4. So lots of just really grinding sessions at the range, lots of playing, just getting out there 2 to 3 times a week. Luckily, I was able to do that. And then trying to bring in a lot of competitive golf. For me, that's been this year a lot of match play that I've been playing tournaments in. So trying to get that pressure and making sure that I can play under that pressure.
So the talk about pressure and the talk about competition, we kind of prepared our own competition and team building a few weeks ago in Chicago. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts about how that went. So Tev, why don't you tell us about how that came about?
Chicago, our fun little trip.
Yeah.
You know, I think fundamentally, you know, we were talking about, wouldn't it be great if we all could get together? And I think one of us, and if it was me, if it was Neil, or if it was one of us, basically said, well, why don't we? We've got all this time, right? I mean, the luxury of being in the situation we were with COVID and having it kind of postponed and going into 2021 was we already knew our team early. Like the seven of us, you know, Clayton, Matt, David, and the four of us were already talking as early as what, January?
January.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So December, January, we were already talking. So I mean, we were already bonding. We're already coming together. You know, the three of them and our captain, our ass cap. Yeah. You know, Clayton, who's a fantastic dude. You know, had welcomed us with open arms and made us feel at home. It was great. It was awesome. And we had talked at one point about like, hey, why don't we get together? We've got an entire year in front of us, right? And multiple other people joining the team. Let's get together and play. Let's play somewhere more nice if we're going to play. And I think Matt did all the heavy lifting to really find that Cog Hill was really, Chicago seemed to be the best place geographically for everybody to come into. You know, I'm in upstate New York. You know, you're way out away from all of us, Chris. You've got, you know, Clayton, who couldn't make it, unfortunately, but he was coming from Louisiana. So if you kind of organize everybody's location, Chicago seemed to be the right location to kind of bring us all together. Mm-hmm. And I think it was Matt who recommended we play Cog Hill, which how can you not want to play Cog Hill? It's a fantastic setup. And I was worried that not everybody would be able to make it, but sure enough, even the guys who got selected, you know, late were able to make it and make it a point of showing up. And I can't tell you how much, and for the THPers to be able to walk onto a course or the first time I walked into the hotel, you guys were all sitting there like in person at the table when I talked to you, especially you three guys on Zoom calls for a year at that point. You know, it's a huge difference to be able to shake someone's hand, you know, wrap them on the back and just be in their presence versus this kind of communication. So just an awesome experience.
Isn't that like just kind of ridiculous in itself that yeah. 8, 9, 10 of us, no, it was 9 of us because we had 3 extra THPers show up. And the fact that 3 extra THPers wanted to come join us. Too. Like,
you know,
just the fact that we were able to get this together was pretty outstanding in itself.
Yep. And then, you know, 12 of us all playing, 12 THPers all playing together. Really talking about bonding and talking about playing a course and showing up. And of course, none of us have played before. Right.
Yeah.
Really want to show your skills, be able to play a course you never played before. And it's 2 fairly hard courses. They weren't overly easy. Right.
No, they were not easy at all.
They were a little challenging.
They were a little challenging.
They ate me alive.
It may be a little challenging
not only
for some of us more than others.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you worship the Church of Neil, you're fine.
That's right.
Right. That's right. Like, you know, cross.
All you got to do is make a putt. That's it. I mean, putt.
Short game Mecca.
Exactly.
I mean, David getting that putt of you closing out that match, Neil, was probably one of the coolest things.
Oh, that was cool.
Ready.
So, Shaun with an H, how do you think the competition part of that worked out, and how do you think everyone handled the golf and the weather?
It was hot and humid there. I always think of Chicago as cold and windy because my previous visits, it's always been cold. So I drank a lot of water. We had fun. It was a fun competition. I played my handicap the first round, but it was very eye-opening at how quickly I faded the second round on the first day. And then even the second day, I didn't sleep well and just really was not playing my best the second round or the second day. It was a slow decline. So I realized that I need to be in a lot better shape. Competitively though, we hung in some matches, had a lot of fun. And I think it was eye-opening because I think there are things I can get better strategically. I asked a couple people to give me pointers. They see things that I'm doing which are costing strokes on the course, and they did. So it's really helpful having teammates to be able to give you advice and point out some things you realize you're doing this. And also seeing some strategy, seeing some of my teammates, whether I was playing alongside them or playing against them, seeing areas where I realized, wow, if we get paired up together, I need to tell him when he's popping on a hole, don't go for a sucker pin because it's a free swing, go for the other side of the green, play the safety and that sort of thing. So it was nice because it really highlighted, as much as I've worked on my swing, when I got tired, my swing went straight to crap and my mental focus was gone. And I just was, for a time there, playing some really piss poor golf. So another area I'm starting to run again, which I absolutely hate in this heat, but trying to get, so at least I have a little bit more stamina and can play more throughout. So hopefully it won't be quite as hot and humid. But it was fun. It was nice being able to generate some of it. The only thing, afterthought, I wish, I kind of think it wouldn't have made sense because those courses you want to play your own ball, but I think people who have not played alt shot, it might come to a shot for them. So I might have to have some team meetings lead up to it, because that is a format that can really get into your head at times. Morgan Cup was my first time doing it, and I actually really enjoyed it, but it was because who I had as a partner who helped me get out of my head about it, and just we had the right focus, right strategy for each hole. So I think there's a lot we can still learn going forward, but Chicago was a great prep, showed a lot of us state of our game, whether you're playing good or not, you could win holes as long as you're using your brain. So it was nice.
Absolutely. And that kind of, we do have a question from somebody who was on that trip, Real Pretend Psychic, and he wants to know, and any of you guys can answer this question. Now that we've seen most of Team THP swings in person, knee-jerk reaction from Chicago and predictions for December on who's going to come out on top in matches.
It's hard to bet against our cap.
Dude,
Yeah.
I just, if you haven't watched Matt play golf, it is a different beast.
It's totally different golf than I've seen. Yeah.
Like it's like watching guys on TV. I mean, it's just like, well, that went right where he wanted it to go. That's odd because that doesn't happen with me. Right? So just watching him swing, watching him poke one out, I wouldn't bet against Matt in any competition for that matter.
One person I wouldn't bet against either, even though he talks crap about his own game, is Dennis. The pops he get, the Blazing Den for people on THP. Yep. The pops he gets, he takes advantage of, and it's scary and frustrating at the same time.
It was amazing to see that for Dennis, like the holes he got pops on, he was shooting like par or bogey, and the holes that he wasn't, the holes that he was kind of going off the rails on were the ones he wasn't getting pops on anyways. It's like you're timing it perfect.
He did. I played him on Sunday in singles, and it was just we were neck and neck. I think we went down to the 18th hole, but it was a fantastic match, and that just made it so fun.
Yep.
So somebody else. Oh, Shaun, you go, and then I'll talk again.
I was just going to say one other person I wouldn't sleep on. I know he asked the question. He's the one who answers this question, but David, Real Pretend Psychic.
That's what I was going to say.
He swings his swing, and it's so consistent. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. The one thing that I realized was he doesn't have a super flashy game, but fairways, greens, and he was lagging putts and making putts, and just made the game of golf look way too easy without overdoing it. So that's something I took away from him.
The putts he was putting close to either push holes or take holes away from me was just hurtful. That was
hard to watch. That was hard to watch.
Oh my God. Chris, you were out of your freaking mind so many times where you're like, okay, I got him. And then he would putt a putt across 2 mounds, off a side hill, through a gopher hole, over a water pipe, and snug it up to like 6 inches from like 80 feet away. And you were like, how?
And then I made him putt it too, just in case he would miss. He never missed.
He never missed one of the short ones he made a putt.
Never missed that. It was amazing. Ball to the left of the fairway, ball to the right, ball in the green, 40 feet away. 6 inches. Done.
I kind of want to be paired with him in at least one round in California just to see it happen, because being on the proper side of it probably was so fun for you, Tev. It just, oh man.
It was fun to just watch it all happen and play out, because we were just, you were predicting when it was going to happen. Just watch like we were on the side hill, the par 3 on the back of Drubsred, with the farmhouse on the side, with the big hill on the right. We were standing up there just watching him. I'm like, he's going to sink this.
That's after I chipped in.
Yes, you dumped it in.
And I never once thought I won the hole, because I thought he was going to make it.
All of us were sitting there like, oh shit, he's gonna dump it. I know he's gonna drain this one. He's only 45 feet away. That's in his wheelhouse. Oh, he almost did. It was like 4 inches from the cup when it finished off. I mean, it had a chance.
It was some incredible golf. And so, Neil, speaking of incredible golf, you played some that weekend. You didn't lose a damn ball.
I did not. I used
all weekend.
Yeah. Chrome Soft XLS.
Same ball.
Same ball all weekend.
So do you think us doing that brought us closer together as a team?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been able to talk. Tev mentioned this. We've been able to talk. We've had these Zoom sessions, but seeing each other in person, right? Going and having a drink, going to dinner together. Oh man, it made us. I mean, a tight knit family. It really did.
I absolutely agree. And I was your roommate, Neil, and me turning on Ready Player One just to fall asleep, and you were ready to do it too. And
oh yes,
it was just.
I think I've done it a dozen times since as well.
These kind of things, like I'm thankful for that trip, because both Shaun's, you guys roomed together too, didn't you? Like, it was just like being close through text and on the forum is cool, but like being able to do that was, I think, just something really special that this team has. And that's not taking away from anybody who either wasn't on the team at that time or who isn't on the team yet, because we still got a spot to fill.
One spot left.
Yep.
It just
one more lucky person.
I do feel like it's gonna help us come December.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's nice about it in December is we're going to walk in as old buddies, already kind of gone through that learning experience, understanding who's the guy most likely to jump off a cliff, which one's the most likely to drink themselves silly, which one's the most likely to go get a tattoo of a putter manufacturer, all those kinds of things. So we already know all that about ourselves, and we've spent 3 days kind of really getting to know each other, which is fantastic. Again, nothing against the newer guys who have joined the team. We'll get to know them in time, but I feel like it puts us ahead as a team to know that, the strengths, the weaknesses, we've all kind of seen each other's play. There's a couple of people I didn't get to play with in Chicago that I'd love to play with, when we get to in December, but it just leapfrogs us ahead, I think, from a team dynamic perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to end this part here, THP, and we will see you again for part 2.